Welcome to the Unearthed Life. My friend Beth and I are talking about grit and resilience and what that looks like today. If you are curious about the Unearthed Life, please visit the website at theunearthedlife.com, where you can find more information on coaching, blog, and Bible studies. Please reach out to me and do a contact sign up if you want to have a conversation. I'd love to do that as well. How would you define mental, is grittiness even a word? After you said that, I was like, is grittiness a word? Be it mental, mental resilience, mental resilience or grittiness, just the grit.
I think I would describe mental grittiness, official term or not, as resilience. The word you just said of maybe you have, what are they called? Intrusive thoughts that run through your mind real fast and plummet your emotions or plummet your mood or whatever. Mm-hmm. Pick your outside factor of things that might happen to you and being able to mentally recover.
I think we've talked about it before. I sent you that little reel of the professor saying, here's the beginning and here's your issue. And the solved problem is way down this graph. It's way down 6 months from now. You know it's not going to happen tomorrow. So what are you doing in between the starting point of knowing that you have to do something to the ending point of your goal?
Yeah.
And mentally making those choices, even when they're hard, to get to that goal. It's like sports with my kids. Mm-hmm. You start a sport and they think they should be good the next day. And you're like, no, that takes a lot of practice.
If only it were so easy.
I wish life was like that, but it's not, because you have to learn to start something and to try, fail, keep going, fail, learn, keep going. And then you get better and better and better because you learn from what you failed at.
So maybe mental grittiness is the willingness to fail a lot.
I think so.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
I do. And I think that's a big part of my story, because I think I felt like so much of a failure a lot growing up, even though I was pretty successful at sports, but everything else felt like pretty big failures. And so at this point, I have failed so many times that I'm not afraid of it. And there is a book out there, I forget what it's called. I'll have to find it. Anyways, about teaching your kids how to fail and not rescue them, letting them fail.
Yes.
Because it builds, even from a young age, this ability to overcome and go on and try again and know that that's just part of life where you might fail and you have to keep going.
Right.
And I think I learned that from, now I ask myself, what is the worst case scenario?
That's a great question.
Because if I am okay with the worst case scenario, then I'm like, okay, I can do it.
Often the worst case scenario, when logically thought out, is a lot less scary than this giant, what if that has no ending to that sentence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looming in your mind.
Yeah.
When you think about the worst possibility, it tends to be a lot less scary.
Yeah.
Ish. I say that. There's plenty of things that are very scary.
Yeah. Well, that's where the anxiety comes up of the what ifs.
Yeah.
What if this, what if that? And then it keeps you from getting from point A to point B. And that is the mental toughness, grittiness, whatever you want to call it, is those decisions. Again, like we were talking about, it's the decisions you make that are hard in between those 2 points, and gives you the affirmation, the feeling, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, of success.
Yeah.
You're proud of yourself and you know that you've got it in you, but it's not easy. I don't know where we lost it. I literally don't know where we lost it, because I've coached in the last few years, and there's a loss of showing up and doing really hard work.
Yeah.
On a field or a court in athletics, that most of the kids are like, oh, this is too hard. I'm not going to give my 100%.
Right.
Because it's just too hard. I don't know where we lost I'm going to give it my all and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't work out, I'm still going to be okay.
Right.
And why we don't get to that. I know it's a lot of anxiety for the kids now, but I think it's a huge fear of failure.
Yeah. I wonder if part of it is social media making everyone feel like their life's fully on display.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
if I fail, everyone's going to see.
Yeah.
Not going to be good for my image, which that phrase, my image is different than what it meant when I was a kid or you were a kid.
Yeah.
Now it's much broader of what is my image. I wonder if that plays into the fear of failure being higher.
Yeah, it could be the comparison.
Yeah.
Because you see everything all the time and it's talked about and you're watched. I actually warned my kids, I'm so sorry, because you are watched constantly 24/7.
Yeah.
Even in parking lots.
Yes.
There's videos.
Right. You're never safe.
You're never not being watched. I'm watching my child drive his car on my phone. I just worry.
Right.
And
right.
Yes, it is a great tool for a parent, but it's also not freedom for them.
Right. I wonder if part of it is cancel culture too.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like I see other people out there making mistakes and they just got canceled because they made a mistake that maybe I've made before.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Culture is not kind or gracious, slow to respond.
Well, it's unforgiving and unacceptable of being different. Yeah, I think we have a really hard time seeing value in each individual. Having a kiddo, we were just talking about the neurodivergent stuff, having a kid who is on that spectrum of neurodivergence, it is hard to watch them not be accepted, awkward, and then everybody treats him really strangely or leaves him out, doesn't know what to do with him.
Right.
He's been bullied. People have been mean. We're getting to the point where that's over, but it is still a question in a lot of people's head of what's wrong with you?
Right.
Why can't you be normal? What is normal? I hate that word.
True.
Because there is no normal.
Right. Exactly.
Our normal is what God created us to be in Him and knowing each other really well to the point of knowing our hearts. Like, wish we could approach every single person with, you're good until you prove me wrong.
Yes.
You have my good at heart until you prove me wrong. I think we are all coming from very hurt, wounded, burned places where we don't approach others in an acceptable place and we protect a lot.
Walls.
Right.
We all have walls that we throw up to make ourselves feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a self-preservation thing, which in some ways can be healthy and in some ways very much not.
Right. Right. I remember doing some imagery prayer and literally putting brick by brick and naming the bricks that I was putting down in front of me between me and God.
Wow.
And going, I don't know what to do with these.
Yeah.
And it is those things that you have to mentally, that's where the grit and the strength and capacity comes in, is what are you going to do with those? Do you want them to keep them from having the life you want?
Yes.
Or are you willing to do the hard work and the hard choices and I'm going to give this up for today so that I can feel better tomorrow? If it's food, if it's exercise, those are hard daily choices everybody makes.
Absolutely.
Is to make the healthy choice. Like, that is a daily, that's on everyone's mind. You know it is.
Yes.
I wish we didn't have to make 3 meals a day. I just... I have a real issue with the fact that I think food is too much in control of our lives. Sometimes it takes too much time. It takes too much effort and thought and mind. And I don't know. I just wish it was a lot easier. Yeah, it's what am I going to choose today so that my tomorrow's different?
Absolutely. And your description at the beginning of mental grit is something that takes a lot of foresight as well. And for me, I'm assuming plenty of other people, it can be overwhelming to see where you want to be and see where you are and see that wide canyon between the two. And I think it's exactly what you said of the mental grit of showing up every day in the small ways of I'm going to choose this even when it doesn't feel good or I don't want to or it seems fruitless. I'm going to keep choosing that. And I think God really honors that practice, that discipline of steadfastness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he does. He says it like, stay with me, abide in me, keep with me.
Yes.
Promise it will be worth it. Yeah. I mean, he literally says that. I'm paraphrasing, but stay with me. I promise it'll be the right answer. It'll be the right thing. And you will be blessed by it.
Do you think we don't see many examples of it in culture? Like, why is being gritty a lost art? Is it because the divorce rate's over 50% now? It's now leaning towards far majority of people get divorced. We're not seeing it in our homes.
It's a good question. I think we've gotten a lot of things given to us really easily.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon comes to my door. I can shop every day.
No.
So it's like...
This is a side note, but my parents toured an Amazon warehouse yesterday. They said within 15 minutes of you clicking the buy now button, that package has already been like your items gathered together and made. Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Anyway, that only proves your point.
No, it does. It's getting more and more proficient.
Yeah.
And I think it is like the world at our fingertips and surface is getting easier. You can self-soothe with going to a spa. You can go to buy something. All these things that are real easy to obtain.
Right.
Sustainability, survival. Easy survival. Because if we actually looked at how we felt or were conscious of how we felt or how Americans are in debt.
Yeah.
Like the worst they've ever been.
Right.
Ever. On credit cards, cars, houses, everything. If we actually had to look at the stuff we're doing, it's stressful.
Oh, yeah.
It's too much. And we just shut down. Well, we avoid. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Avoidance.
We're avoiding what's hard for what's easy.
Yeah.
And sustains us every day. It's when you get to the point of, I can't do this anymore. This doesn't feel good. Why am I so miserable? Why do I have anxiety? Why do I have depression? Those are symptom surface issues of something deeper. Why can't I make those hard choices to feel better? What do I need? Of course, I would say you need Jesus. We can't do this by ourselves.
Right.
Can't.
Right.
There's no way I could ever have done any of my life without having God in it and making that decision with the Holy Spirit, who gives us strength and reassurance and power and helps us get through those really hard things that we decide to do.
Right.
Or that happened to us. But that's the difference too. We could totally go into doing life, making the choices to do life, or do you let life happen to you? Because I let life happen to me for years and I was miserable.
Yeah.
You act like a victim. You just feel like you have no control over your life.
Right.
But you do. It's just the choices to change that are going to be really hard.
Right. So scary. Those choices are scary.
Yeah. I think I've thought about that a lot over the years so my story, oh gosh, it's 10 years ago. I did an intensive with some counselors. They, through contemplative prayer of seeing Jesus in my story, I was healed. And I mean, I did a 180 of being the victim to going, oh, I can have the life I want. I can see now that I've been letting everything else around me take control instead of doing and being who God wants me to be in partnership with him. I was letting everybody else have the say on my life. And that's from victim to freedom.
Yes.
Right?
Huge change. Yeah.
Surrendering into the freedom. I feel like that was a huge transitionary point for me in my story.
That's huge. Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today. There will be a second part of this where Beth and I review a book that's similar to this subject. So stay tuned.